The country has launched a major counter-terrorism operation involving both the army and police officers. The operation will focus on northern and central Sinai, where there's been an increase in militant attacks. In a televised statement, the army spokesperson confirmed that law enforcement officials will move on to other parts of Egypt, such as the Delta and Western Desert areas, in the second phase of the operation. Now, the announcement comes just ahead of next month's presidential election. Militancy has been on the rise in parts of Egypt, mostly in the Sinai region. Attackers target military checkpoints, police officers, and civilians.
In continuation of the efforts of the law enforcement forces, elements from the Air Force have targeted militant hideouts, weapon and ammunition storages that are used by the terrorists as bases to target forces and civilian targets in North and Central Sinai. Navy forces are tightening its marine control in the area.
Well, let's bring you more on this now. Let's go live to Cairo, where CGTN's Adel Al-Marouki is standing by. Adel, elections, of course, just a month away. Has the army elaborated on the timing of the launch of this operation?
There hasn't been any clear indication of why specifically the army is launching this new military operation. It's calling it Sinai 2018, and it's a major offensive, as you said. It's a nationwide military operation that will target several places. Of course, the main focus is North Sinai. But why is it now? Is it good to have it just weeks before the elections? We didn't still get any clarification from the Egyptian armed forces on that regard. But as you said, there is an election coming. We've seen some pictures are circulating from the main mission control office, through which the president himself is believed to be taking part of it, along with the leaders of the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces Council, which is the main governing body and regulatory body that supervises all the activities of the Egyptian armed forces. That's also one aspect for it. It follows also numerous reports about the situation of militant insurgency in the Sinai. There have been lots of concerns that North Sinai, maybe along with other parts in the region, become a focal point for the gathering of militants who have fled from the war against ISIL in Syria and Iraq. So it seems that we're seeing a very firm tone from the Egyptian armed forces. The operation is going in parallel with other security operations by the Egyptian Interior Ministry. Hours ago, the Egyptian police said it has killed 3 terrorists and arrested 14 others, and it believes all of them belong to a group called Hasb. It's a group the authorities affiliate to the Muslim Brotherhood, and is considered one of its arms wing that has conducted several attacks, and not just in Cairo, but in other major Egyptian cities.
Well, indeed, as you said, the major focus being the Sinai, but indeed the scale of this operation surely points to the fact that insecurity is a nationwide concern.
Definitely. That's what has been the main priority of the Egyptian president, is to stand against the rise and the threats of militant insurgency in the Sinai. And we've seen lately in Egypt other terrorist attacks being conducted against civilians, whether they're Muslims, Christians, or even other security targets all over some of the Egyptian biggest cities. And it seems that the president, while going into a new term, he wants to start a very clear page, and saying that he will begin with a firm grip against all these threats. The entire state now is on high alert. Hospitals and have been alerted to have full preparations in case there is a retaliation from militant groups or armed groups if they try to conduct any attacks against civilians, while the army is focused on fighting them in the North Sinai and other Egyptian cities. Meanwhile, the government has decided to shut down all schools in North Sinai while these operations go on. There's still no clear indication about the duration of these military operations. How long will they last? It's still not clear. Also, what is the magnitude or the manpower supporting or being pushed on the ground with security officials and fighters being engaged in such a nationwide or massive engagement. It has not been marketed in that way before. We've never seen the government taking such a big announcement showing what many believe could be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Egyptian military operation against militants and armed groups in the North Sinai region in specific, and the threat of terrorism all over the country. We're still waiting from the Egyptian armed forces. There is a press conference expected through which more details should be given.
Well, thank you so much, Adel Al-Marouki. Clearly a very strong indication of the commitment to rid Egypt of terrorism.